Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Reality Check. Today we are looking at two stories that on the surface seem completely different. One is about film and the other one is about gold prices. But both raise bigger questions about power, public confidence, and the choices that shape society. We will begin with the controversy surrounding Satluj, Diljit Dosanjh starring in a movie based on a human rights activist. After facing years of censorship, over 100 demanded cuts, and a mysterious removal of the streaming just hours after its release, many are asking, is this simply regulation or does it reflect a deeper struggle over who gets to tell the history? Then we'll turn to the economy, where gold prices in Pakistan have fallen for the third consecutive day. Is this a welcome relief for buyers or just a temporary correction before another surge? Let's separate the headlines from the reality. India often calls itself the world's largest democracy, but a democracy is not judged only by elections. It's also judged by how it treats the uncomfortable stories, difficult questions, and the voices that challenge the official narrative. This week, one film has once again put the debate under the spotlight. Punjabi superstar Diljit Dosanjh's Satluj, previously titled as Punjab 95, is another Bollywood release. The film is set in Punjab during the mid-1990s when the state was emerging from years of militancy and counter-insurgency operations. Diljit Dosanjh plays Jaswant Singh, an ordinary bank manager from Taratarn who lives a simple life with his family. But everything changes when someone close to him suddenly disappears. What begins as a personal search gradually turns into the world's biggest human rights investigation in Punjab's history. As Khalra starts visiting police stations, government offices, and cremation grounds, he begins discovering disturbing inconsistencies in official records. Instead of isolated disappearances, he uncovers what appears to be much larger pattern. The film shows Khalra carefully examining municipal records, cremation registers, government paperwork, and official documents. Piece by piece, he builds what the film presents as a documentary evidence, suggesting that thousands of unidentified bodies had allegedly been secretly cremated during the militancy years. Reports cited by Khalra claim that nearly 25,000 unidentified bodies may have been cremated between mid-90s to 1980s. The film alleges that some members of the Punjab police used the fight against militancy as a cover for fake encounters, enforced disappearances, and extrajudicial killings. It also explores the allegation that it proves that innocent people were sometimes labeled as militants to earn promotion, rewards, and recognition. Importantly, the film does not portray every police officer as corrupt. It also introduces some characters who represent officers committed to justice and the rule of law, showing that the system itself contained with abuse and resistance. At its core, Satluj is not just about one investigation, it's about grief, families searching for missing loved ones, the emotional cost of speaking against powerful institutions in India, the price paid by whistleblowers, and the difficult question of whether national security can ever justify violations of human rights. The film avoids loud political speeches. Instead, it follows a slow investigative journey, allowing documents, evidence, and personal stories to reveal the larger picture. Many critics have described it as a restrained investigative thriller rather than a conventional political drama. The story is inspired by real events, and in reality, Jaswant Singh Khalra documented allegations of secret cremations during Punjab's insurgency period. In September 1995, he himself was abducted. His body was never recovered, and years later, several Punjab police officials were convinced for his kidnapping and murder. This historical background is exactly what makes the film so sensitive. Because of its subject matter, Satluj remained trapped in India's censorship process for almost 4 years. According to director Honey, the Central Board of Film Certification (CFBPC) demanded 127 cuts. They reportedly included changes to scenes, dialogues, names, references, and historical details. The filmmakers have said they were repeatedly asked to alter the portions of the story that were not given clear explanation for many of those demands. As theatrical release plans continued to face delays, the producers eventually abandoned the idea of releasing the film in cinemas. Instead, they secretly released it directly on an online streaming platform. Even the cast reportedly did not know the exact release date until the final hours. For a brief moment, the film was finally available for audiences, but only hours later, it disappeared. The streaming platform removed the film from India until further notice. The sequence of events immediately raised questions. If the film had finally reached audiences, why was it taken down so quickly? Was this simply a legal or regulatory decision, or was it another attempt to limit public access to politically sensitive chapter of history? Critics argue that the controversy surrounding Satluj reflects a wider pattern. They say films, documentaries, books, and journalists dealing with sensitive issues such as Punjab's insurgency, Kashmir, the Sikh community, or the concerns raised by Muslim minorities increasingly face legal hurdles, censorships, or prolonged delays. Many also point the recent controversies, including mosque demolitions, bans on documentaries, restriction on books, are the examples of growing pressure on dissenting voices. The Indian government rejects these allegations. It maintains that censorship decisions, law enforcement actions, and public security measures are carried out strictly under the Constitution and existing laws with the objective of maintaining public order, protecting national security. However, critics argue that when stories dealing with historical state actions repeatedly struggle to reach the public, it creates the perception that official institutions are becoming increasingly uncomfortable with the narratives that challenge the state's versions of events. This debate is no longer about one film. It's about whether democracies should allow difficult chapters of their own history to be openly discussed, whether the issue involves Punjab, the Sikh community, Kashmir, or the concerns raised by Muslim communities. Many believe difficult conversations should be answered through debate, transparency, accountability, and not silence. Cinema is more than entertainment. It preserves history. It asks uncomfortable questions. It gives voices to those stories who might disappear otherwise. When filmmakers spend years fighting for the release of a movie based on historical events, and when dozens or even hundreds of changes are demanded, and when a film disappears only after release, the conversation naturally shifts from cinema to freedom of expression. And now the real question is, can a democracy truly claim confidence in its institutions if stories based on its own historical struggle can't reach to its people? Gold prices in Pakistan have now fallen for the third consecutive day and giving some relief to buyers but raising an important question for the investors. Is this the right time to buy gold, or is it the market signaling more uncertainty ahead? On Tuesday, international gold prices declined by another $25 per ounce, bringing the global price to $1 to $5. The impact was immediately felt in Pakistan. According to All Pakistan Gems and Jewelers Sarafa Association, the price of 1 tola gold fell by 2,500 rupees and bringing down it to 4,34,000. Now the price of 10 grams of gold also dropped by more than 2,100 rupees, while silver prices declined as well. This is now the third straight day of falling prices. Over just 3 trading sessions, gold has lost nearly 5,000 per tola after previously touching record high levels. Gold prices are influenced primarily by the international market. When investors become more confident about the global economy, interest rates remain high, or the US dollar strengthens, demand for gold usually declines. That often pushes prices lower than in the international markets. Pakistan simply follows a global trend. Since the country imports gold, international price movement directly affect the local rates. However, despite this recent decline, gold remains historically at the highest levels. Just a few weeks ago, prices were setting record after record as investors rushed toward gold because of the geopolitical tensions, inflation concerns, and uncertainty in the global financial markets. Analysts say that the current correction does not necessarily mean that gold has entered a long-term downward trend. Instead, it could simply be a period of profit making after months of period increases. For ordinary Pakistanis, however, prices may offer temporary relief. Families planning weddings may find jewelry slightly more affordable, while investors who were waiting for prices to cool down may see this as an opportunity to enter the market. Gold is more than just a jewelry in Pakistan. For millions of families, it's a form of savings, financial security, and protection against the inflation. Whenever economic uncertainty increases, people often run to gold as a safe haven asset. This is why major movement in gold prices attracts people nationwide. The recent decline may benefit buyers in the short term, but future prices will continue to depend on the international market developments. including US rate decisions, inflation data, global economic conditions, and the geopolitical tensions. But the real question is a 3-day decline simply a temporary correction, or is it just the beginning of a bigger shift in the global market? From a film that has reignited debate over censorship, freedom of expression, and the telling of history, to falling gold prices that reflect uncertainty in the global economy, today's stories reminds us that behind every headline lies a much bigger conversation. Whether it's protecting artistic freedom, preserving historical memory, or understanding the force behind the financial markets, looking beyond the surface is more important than ever, because informed citizens just do not consume news. They question it, they analyze it, and they demand accountability. Thank you for watching Reality Check. If you found today's discussion insightful, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, stay informed, stay curious, and keep asking the difficult questions. Allah Hafiz.